It's here.
It's here. I'm just gonna.
No, Evelyn, I forget to.
Don't worry about it. Now I know where it is. We want to call the meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Dr. Rose.
All right, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was given in the annual meeting notice, which was emailed to the Herald News, the Record Office of the County Clerk, and posted on PCCC website and bulletin boards on November 17th, 2021.
Thank you, Dr. Rose. Roll call.
Trustee Octor. Trustee Drakeford. Trustee Esquiche. Trustee Glovin. Trustee Glovin.
None.
Trustee Montanez Diadene. Trustee Moody. Trustee Nutter. Trustee Poe. Trustee Smith.
Present.
Vice Chair Tanis.
Present.
Chairman Mark.
Present. Okay. First order of business is consideration of the minutes of the October 18th Board of Trustees meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, may I have a motion on resolution number 1? Approval of the October 18th, 2022 minutes. Second, roll.
Motion by Trustee Moody, seconded by Trustee Tanis. On the motion to adopt the minutes of the October board meeting, Trustee Drakeford. Trustee Glovin. Trustee Glovin, you're muted. And you're still muted.
Yes.
Trustee Montanez Diadene. Trustee Moody.
Yeah.
Trustee Poe, is she there?
Yeah,
You there,
she's
Diana?
Saw her a minute ago.
Diana, you there?
I'm here. Here, Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Can
you.
you?
We're voting on the
Okay, great.
minutes.
Okay.
Do you have
Yes.
a vote? Yes, thank you. Very good. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tanis,
Yes.
Chairman Marco,
Yes.
minutes are approved.
Mr. Cerrone, this is Assad, can I still register my vote as yes?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't realize you were there.
No, I
Okay.
logged in halfway through your count, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're voting yes?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so New Jersey law requires that an organization of the Board of Trustees be held in November. Yes, I one time a year I get the gavel. All right, so nominations, the first nomination is for chairperson of the Board of Trustees.
Mr. President, I'd like to put into nomination the name of Dennis Marco. He has served for the past 3 years, and I think he's done an admirable job, and he definitely leads by example.
I second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations for chairperson of the Board of Trustees? Seeing none, is there a motion to close nominations?
I make a motion that we close the nominations for our chairperson.
Second,
I think we do it by a voice vote, Mike.
To close, yeah.
Yeah, all in favor of closing nominations?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? All in favor of,
Well, you should do it.
okay,
On the motion to elect Dennis Marco chair, Trustee Octor,
Yes.
Trustee Drakeford.
Yes.
Trustee Glovin,
yes.
Trustee Montanez de Danay.
Yeah.
Trustee Moody.
Yes.
Trustee Poe.
Yes.
Excellent. Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Trustee, Vice Chair Tanis.
Yes.
Chairman Marco.
Oh. Let's see.
No.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your support. Okay. Want to open the floor for nominations for vice chairperson? I'd like to nominate Barbara Tanis, who's done an admirable job as well, and has given me a lot of guidance and support. And
I'll second that nomination.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
move to close. The second?
Second.
Are there any other nominations?
I'm sorry, are there any other nominations? No?
Move to close.
Okay. Move to close. Do I have a second? Okay, second. Now, upon a voice vote, the chairperson is selected?
No.
No?
Voice vote to close nominations.
Nominations.
Voice vote to close nominations. You'll take a voice vote to close nominations. Then we
Votes,
will do a roll call
okay.
for election.
All right, votes, a voice vote to close nominations.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
and then a vote, roll call for a vote.
Right. So this is on the motion to elect Barbara Tanis as vice chair. Trustee Achter,
Yes.
trustee Drakeford. Trustee Glovin,
Yes.
trustee Montanez de Danay.
Yes.
Trustee Moody.
Yes.
Trustee Poe. Is not. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
trustee, vice chair Tanis,
Same.
and chairman Martin.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Okay,
Congratulations. Good,
we have our team,
there we go.
ECCC Dream Team.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Something like that. Yes.
All right, so we go through a system here of program reviews in the various, especially in the academic programs, but in administrative areas as well at the college. And one of the things we like to do periodically is bring them to the Board of Trustees. These are, Jackie, you want to describe the process here?
So of the house, of the academic side, and also for some of the other administrative programs in the college. Okay, most of it actually happens on my side, that is true.
Yes.
We do have criteria for the program review, which I think both the Professor Carter and Professor Pack and also Dr. Taylor are going to do specific criteria that need to be addressed on our side. And then also we hire an outside consultant to review the program also. So this is for every 5 years. And so this past year, we've had program reviews. And we've also had program reviews.
I apologize, but it's very hard to hear anyone.
Having a hard hearing, Jackie.
Jackie.
So part of what we're doing, not that we wouldn't do this, but we are trying to prepare for middle states. And one of the things that they want to see is that we are communicating the results of these reviews. And so they're here tonight to talk about what they did and what were the recommendations from the consultant. And we try to hire outside consultants from outside of New Jersey if we can get them. And some of them are quite prominent in their own field, and you're going to find that out tonight. Okay, I think Professor Carter and Professor Pack are first.
Yep. Yes, please. Question.
Dennis, watch.
I start.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Professor Linda Carter, you might remember me. I was the executive director of the Child Development Center here at PCCC for 13 years, and I'll be actually my 10th year as a full-time faculty this September. So I've been here for 23 years in total.
Wow.
It's been a major pleasure. This journey's been a major pleasure. And I just want to say a little bit about this program review. It's been an incredible lens into our program, into understanding ourselves better and how we could move forward and continue to do the work that we do that works, and then also look at how we can improve what we do. So it was really an overall assessment process of us, and having somebody externally look at us with another lens was really important. And one of the first areas we wanted to focus on when we were doing this, which will be the next, oh, sorry, let me just give Professor Packer a minute to introduce herself. I'm so sorry.
Hi, my name is Stoney Pack. I'm the other full-time faculty member here in the department. This is my 3rd year here, and I started during the pandemic. So it's been an interesting 2 years, to say the least. But I was an adjunct here prior to my start here. So I've been here for over 6 years. And before this, I worked at Hudson County, and I was also an elementary school teacher.
Yes, and I want to commend Professor Pack for coming on during a pandemic and dealing with all the challenges that we know existed and doing an incredible job. So we're very happy to have her. So Dr. Knowles O'Brien was our external reviewer. You can see she has extensive background in early childhood and teacher education. And she's earned a doctoral degree in Northeastern University of Boston. She has done research. She's worked at various colleges throughout the United States, and she's a consultant. She works specifically at infant, toddlers, preschool, and older. She works in magnet schools. She is on this particular one here, serves as a national touch point facilitator, where they actually identify challenges with families are having in the home, where they see regression with their children. And she's also an advisor in that area. So it really aligns when you see a little bit more about our program. And we were so happy to have her. She was so wonderful and open. And we'll talk a little bit, that's what I was getting to that slide in terms of how we created this relationship, because it was a relationship and it extended over a period of time. So Stoney and I, Professor Pack and I created a self-study, which was quite a lot of work, and we put a lot of time and effort, and we shared it with Dr. Knowles. And this is what happened, and this is something that happens throughout this is part of what our goals are really about and what our values are really about, is to establish a partnership and culture in the department. So Dr. Knowles was very open to this, to understand who we are, what we do, and how we do it. And then to create that emotional climate of connection, how we can connect with each other, how we can communicate with each other and share and feel that level of trust, feel comfortable saying, this doesn't seem like it's working. Do you have advice for us? How can we improve? And then understanding the criticism, and the critical piece is the recommendations, but it's also the assessment. And assessment drives everything that we do. So this collaborative relationship that we developed is really what helped us to move nicely through discussions, through Zoom meetings, because she's out of state. And she was so gracious to meet with us at any given point with any questions that we had, and also questions that she had. We made ourselves available. And Professor Pack is going to talk a little bit more about how this relationship branches out into our department.
So establishing and developing relationships is a core value in our department. And this is something that we try to do in everything that we do. So in the classrooms, in teaching and learning, we develop a classroom environment where we have a community of learners, where students feel safe, secure, and like they belong. And this really helps in student success and engagement and participation. And so that's something that we do. In terms of advising and mentoring our students, we make it a point to establish a relationship with our students, so that we get to know them, that they get to know us. And we find that this helps them to succeed and continue on in our program. With our department, the same thing applies to our adjunct faculty. We make sure that we get to know them. We meet with them ongoing. We have frequent communication, and that we get to know them and they get to know us. And so this is something we also apply to our community partnerships. And this is something Professor Carter is going to speak about more, but we really pride ourselves in having a tremendous number of community partnerships. And we find that it's because of the relationships that we've developed with our community partnerships. And so this is just something that we find to be really important in our department and something that we try to do with everything that we do.
I wanted to mention one thing too, which knowing that I was a previous administrator, it's so important to have excellent relationships with the administrators at the college. And I find that key in our success as well. We're faculty, but we're all here with a common goal and interest. So we have to keep that connection strong. So I think to have that advantage of being an administrator and seeing that kind of side and then seeing the faculty side, that really kind of is a goal of in our department as well, to make sure we keep connected with the administrators. And Dean Fallon was our dean through the pandemic, and he was incredible in supporting us. And I just want to acknowledge that as well. So these are some of the areas that were addressed in the program review. And I also gave copies because we took the key points out that we thought would be the most interesting to share. How is the ECE teacher department mission aligned with the college's mission, which we'll talk about? Where are we today? Who are our students? What is our curriculum? How is it assessed? Who is our faculty? What resources do we have? What are our students and faculty saying? What is the progress on past recommendations? What are our current findings and what are our current recommendations? So pieces of that will be on our presentation, and the rest of it will be in the handout that we give you. So a little bit of history and mission. Actually, Evelyn helped me find this out, that the department has been in existence for 44 years, which is wonderful. This program was designed to train future educators in Passaic County and has since evolved to meet the needs of the Passaic County community. The ECE teacher department mission aligns with the college's mission and goals. And we're going to talk a lot about how they align. And our mission is, the department at PCC is to provide educational opportunities that prepare competent, caring, and creative professionals to positively impact the lives of children, families, and the community we serve. So let me get into a little bit how we align with the goals.
So as you can see, these are PCC's goals: to offer, improve, provide, and expand. And on the next slide, you'll see that our department goals are directly aligned to the college's goals.
So we'll begin with our community collaborations. Our fieldwork students are not only in the field to meet a requirement, they're in the field to learn and apply theory to practice. We've had the advantage right now because in New Jersey, the substitute teacher requirement is down to 30 credits, never before for our education students in the field. And it's an incredible opportunity because my classes have become alive in a way they never did before. A whole new dimension has been added to it. The discussion of how theory relates to practice. Professor, how do I handle this situation? What do we do? This happens in my classroom today. So that they're taking advantage of this. They're out there, they're gaining employment, but they're also learning. And they're having real life experiences while they're learning. And so we really have a strong emphasis on this. We have service learning partnerships. This is part of our Title V grant. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And we do always connect with the surrounding school districts, Passaic, Patterson in particular, making sure we have connections. Community cohorts, I just wanted to mention, we're kind of all over the state. Right now, we have 4 programs that are kind of running from other counties. We have 2 CDA programs, which is the Child Development Associate remotely. We're running those. And then we also, and it's the only early childhood national credential that exists. So we have students in those areas. And we also have students from Oasis and Eva's Village taking courses and credentials with us. And then we have a statewide presence. I'm on the board of the New Jersey Infant Toddler Educators, the Coalition of New Jersey Infant Toddler Educators. And we're also part of the New Jersey Association of Early Childhood Educators, which keeps us in connection with other community colleges throughout the state. And then Professor Pack is going to talk a little bit about dual enrollment.
So we have been offering our CDA Certificate of Achievement program at PCTI for over 10 years now. And we have a 100% pass rate. And many of the students at PCTI do go on to get their CDA, which is a nationally recognized early childhood teaching certificate. So we're very proud of that, and we look forward to continuing that partnership. Another thing that we want to talk about is the varied modality that we offer to our students. Many of our students are non-traditional. They work during the day, so they need very flexible options. They have a very tough schedule. And so we offer courses online, we offer courses in person, remote, this so that we can meet the unique needs of our students. And we find that offering them these different options and choices helps them to continue on and to succeed and to finish their degree. I also want to say that because we have these different modalities, we have students from out of county taking our classes. So we have 2 groups of students from Hudson County taking classes here in Passaic. And we're able to offer that because we do it remotely.
Okay, so we have 2 grants, major grants in our department. We have a Title V grant, which is the Pathways to Teacher Education. This has been instrumental in helping us with retention and completion because our students are getting success coaching, praxis support, which is a requirement for teacher education students when they go on to the 4-year college, peer mentoring, something called supplemental instruction. We used to have paired classes with the ESL students. Now what we have is the SI leaders, they're called. They're students. They get a stipend for this, they get paid to do this, and they actually come into our classes for a period of time. And they also design lesson plans and work with many of our ESL students to help them with the terminology, to help them with their support to write. So it's been a wonderful win-win situation. We're waiting to get some data in terms of how well these students are doing. But I can tell you from what I'm seeing in my grading process that it's been really very successful. And then the advisement has been key. And I think the pandemic, a positive of the pandemic is we're able to advise these students at all different times because of Zoom, and that allows us to be able to connect with them. So, and also the transfer support that's embedded into this grant as well. So we take them from where they're at, help them with the praxis, and also show them where they're going. And it somebody opening up that bridge for them, it really makes it work. And then we also have a grant for the Taub Foundation. And we've had this for about 10 years and it keeps changing. Now we have a 2-year grant that ends in December of 23. And we also offer CDA coursework, the National Credential coursework there. We have something called the Homeschool Literacy Link, which has become very popular now in New Jersey. And OASIS has asked us to provide that there. And Professor Papp is going to talk a little bit about work she's presently doing over at EVAS called Train the Trainer.
So we're working with the staff at EVAS Village to really improve the quality of early childhood education that the students there are receiving. And so we have this Train the Trainer program that we are developing. And so we've come up with curriculum basically to train trainers to continue to train the staff at EVAS Village. And so the current topic that we're working on is the benefits of family involvement and how to practice. And so we've created micro lectures and assignments, and so that we can teach the staff members there how to partner with families and what the benefits of family involvement are, and how that will benefit the students. And so that's something that's in the works, and it's sustainable, so they can keep it and continue to use it later on.
And I also wanted to mention in 2018, we were awarded the Monsignor Vincent Coomer Award for doing exemplary work with EVAS Village community. So we're really proud of that, and it was really, one of the most rewarding experiences of my career. Okay, and the next one is our faculty. We wanted to also just emphasize this, and our reviewer also brought this to our attention that we should pay attention to this. Our faculty are teachers. So they're out teaching during the day, our adjunct faculty, they're teachers. So they have teaching certification. They understand how to engage students. They understand pedagogy. And uniquely, we have them as part of our team. And it's made our team so much more enriched as a result of that. And then additionally,
and because we have such highly qualified instructors, we really make it a point to meet regularly and to reflect and to get together with a common goal and purpose, to discuss best practices, to share with each other, and to just continue to grow and teach each other and learn from each other. And so that's what the community of practice meetings that we have pretty regularly, to just continue to learn and grow.
So these are our department programs. We have the AS, the Associate in Applied Science, with the stackable credentials. These are so inspiring and motivating for our students because they get to come to commencement when they receive their certificate of achievement in the Child Development Associate. And some of these students never want to step in the door. They just kind of said, no, I can't do this. And they're encouraged to do it. And this encourages them to move forward. Some of them go for the New Jersey Infant Toddler Credential. Others go right for our 35 credit career certificate. And then achieve their 60 credit associate in applied science. This used to be thought about as a terminal degree, but it's not. It's sought after now in New Jersey. Our students, they're reaching out to us and saying, please send us your students, and they're gaining employment. So what a lot of our students, I just wanted to say this trend that's going on is they complete the AS program, they gain employment, they get their degree, they graduate, and they come back and they go into the AA liberal arts program, and then they move on to be transferred over to four-year colleges. So that's been a trend that's been happening. And Professor Pack was going to just talk a little bit about the AA programs.
So the AA programs are basically for students that want to continue on to the four-year teacher ed program and get a bachelor's degree and get certified to teach early childhood or teacher education.
So we kind of have a combination going on here in the book as well. This is some data that we wanted to share. If you notice over here, and this was in 2020, we had a 90.5 retention during the pandemic. And so where that came from, I think it came from the connections we were making during the pandemic. And so, we want to think about that. We want to think about doing that in person now, keeping those connections going, we're really proud that that happened. I also think the Title V grant was very supportive in that happening. And then at Eva's Village, 100% of the Eva's Village students received their Child Development Associate, the actual national credential, not only passed our classes, but received their national credential. And this is some information on the infant toddler credential. 100% of students who applied for the credential were successful candidates. 100% of the IT credential applicants since 2019 completed their coursework here at PCCC because it's offered throughout the state of New Jersey. And 80% of the infant toddler credentials offered since 2008 completed their coursework. They came from us, they came from PCCC. So we're very proud of that, and we want to see that expand and grow. And that was one of the areas that our review and notice and said, find other ways to collaborate throughout New Jersey so we can provide other programs. And then these are just some slides that came directly from the report you have. But again, I'll just read the first one. The ECE department has a strong purpose for the use of assessment. Assessment data is gathered and reviewed to track progress. The department uses the results to strengthen the overall program, coursework, student learning, faculty instruction, improve our instruction. We use curriculum mapping. So I'll notice if I'm teaching that capstone class and there's a weakness, I need to go back to that lower level class and see what do we have to do to change those assignments. So those students are getting the content that they need so they can be successful throughout the levels of courses that they take so they get to that capstone class. And I found that really exciting when I came on board as a full-time faculty and came on as the coordinator in 2019, because I started teaching all these classes and I saw the continuity that exists. So assessment has really been great. And this is the findings and the summary that's in there. I'll just quickly read it to you. The EC department, this is directly from our reviewer, is in touch with nearly 400 students it serves. Faculty within the department and supporting college staff understand the needs of the students, the trends of the early childhood and teacher education field, and the needs of the job market. This student body requires flexibility based on the responsibilities of the older students, 30 to 40-year-olds, such as job requirements, family care, and self-care. Understanding and valuing family and self-care results in offering courses that are remote, online, concurrent, and in person. Further, this department is aware of the financial strain students experience and work to ensure that all resources available that may reduce costs, such as courses that use open education resources, OER. The members of the department seek to design course formats and offer services that meet the needs of the students they serve. And this was directly from our review. This is a book from our review. And then there's many recommendations in there, but these are the ones that are in action right now. And Professor Pack's going to talk about the first three and where we have them located at the present time.
So the first one is to increase and expand our dual enrollment programs. I mean, because we've had such a success at PCTI, we want to expand that out to other schools. And so currently we are working with JFK, and we're hoping to be able to offer our CBA Certificate of Achievement program there as well. The second one is expand upon the use of technology within our department's instructional design. We're looking to add 2 additional online courses to our department, and we're also looking to change most of our AAS classes to OER as well. And so that's number 2. And number 3 is expand community outreach support and improve the quality of early childhood education experiences. We really have a lot of partnerships and we're looking to expand on them even more. And so one local organization that we are really targeting is GVCA, and we've worked with them in the past, but we're hoping to, you know, rekindle that relationship and offer our coursework there and be able to, you know, work with the students there and the teachers there and the staff there as well.
Okay, and then finally, consider exploring articulation agreements with additional New Jersey universities and colleges with the intent of offering remote and online course formats and set a department goal to explore how and if the department could expand offerings in other states and territories in the US. She felt like she thinks our program needs to expand and move, and we want to do that. And so we're excited about that. And continue to work with admissions to reach out to our students who left ECE and come up with some data and follow to support why they left, how we can get them to return. That may shed some light on some of the non-pandemic related issues. So doing some research in that area. There's lots more in the format. So here is what our faculty, our reviewer interviewed our faculty and our students, but we just took a few quotes. The first one is about the SI leaders, those are the students that help other students in classes. The one I want to really highlight here is having this was a quote from one of our adjuncts, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. Having an opportunity to work helped me to grow as a professional. I started teaching about 16 years ago with just a pre-K students, and then to older students, then back to school to get my special ed certification, bilingual certification, master's in Spanish literature, and then wasn't sure about how I would finish, how I would do with adults. It gave me an opportunity. It's a positive experience working in this department. This is a PCC. This person is a success story. She started here in ESL. She went into work study. She started then also volunteering at the PCC Child Development Center. She earned her associate's degree. She went on to become preschool through grade 3 certified and started teaching for us here at PCCC. Then went on and taught for Patterson Public Schools, and now is working in another school district in Patterson and is getting ready to work for go on for her PhD. She is our success story. She relates to our students, she gets it, and I can't say enough about her. She's getting married at the end of this month, in Ireland, no less. I don't think she'd mind me sharing that, but we're really excited for her, and it was so nice to see her growth along the way and her loyalty toward the college. And then
And I think this is just an example of how our relationships have really helped our students and supported our students. And so I'll just read one of the quotes from one of our students here at the bottom. It was my first time being a student in about 10 years. At first, everything was remote, but the EC program professors are always there answering emails. They were so helpful, and the clubs and programs and advisors is what kept me in the program. I'm an honor student, 3.8. I thought I wasn't smart enough. They kept me going. They found math tutors for me, worked one-on-one with me. We met late, like 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I worked 42 hours a week, and they always worked with me. I gained another family. They kept me going.
I love that family piece because that's what we are. And so, do you have any questions for us? We tried to keep it as brief as possible. And again, I recommend, if you want to encourage you to read the full review, there's a lot, but any questions?
Impressive. Very impressive. Very impressive. Thank you.
Thank you so
Great-
much.
great
It was
job.
great to see you.
Dr. Sabrina Johnson-Taylor will give a presentation on the program review for distance education.
Dennis, watch.
Yeah, just need
It's easy to keep watching.
I don't know. Can you not share, or is that coming from this computer?
This is from the computer.
Oh, yeah. I
You
don't-
want to-
Yeah.
Am I not? Okay. I don't understand. I'll just type it. Copy this. Yeah. But I think this is-
Right, Dennis, here it is. See the green button at the bottom? That's what you're gonna want to hit. Everything comes up, what you want to share, it comes up.
Yep.
And then it says you're sharing the screen.
Gotcha.
Okay? It's easy. It is. It is.
Okay. So this I'm sorry for the delay. So this presentation, it's a very different format than what you just,
There's no standard format. It's okay.
so Dr. Kanivi asked me to place a little more emphasis on the guidebook that's used in the program review to give you more detailed explanations of it. I will highlight some of the things from the distance education review, but the first part will highlight the guidebook. So distance ed, we did our review this past spring. So there is some criteria. Looking at, so the purpose of the review, the purpose is the administrative unit. Essentially, you know, you're looking at how the administrative unit is in alignment with the college's strategic plan, the college's goals. The primary purpose of the program review is to enhance the quality of the student learning experience. Each unit will assess its mission, its operations, its resources relative to the college missions and goals. And the other purpose of doing the program review is so that you are in compliance with accreditation standards, federal and state laws, Title IV, and other legal requirements. The image that you see on the left, that's the cover of the guidebook that's used in these program reviews. And essentially, when everyone uses the same resource, when everyone uses the same guidebook, then there's consistency across the areas being examined. So the structure, distance education, we really complete a review almost every 2 years instead of 5 years. And part of that is probably because the technology is always changing and standards and regulations are always changing. There are 3 stages when you're doing the review process. The first one is the internal review. That's done by the unit. So DE, we did our distance ed, we did ours this past spring. The next, there's an external reviewer that examines the internal review. And then finally, an action plan is developed that addresses the findings and recommendations from both the internal and external review. The action plan identifies steps for improvement and functions across a multi-year time frame. Looking at the first part of the process from the guidebook, this is the criteria for the internal review, which is essentially a self-study. Many of these are self-explanatory. So for a history and a description of the unit, it looks at the primary purpose and key functions of the unit, the priorities of the unit, and how the unit is situated within the institution. Mission and goals describes how the unit's mission aligns with the college's mission and supports the college strategic plan. For the next item, you're essentially describing your operational planning process. Quality of programs, services. This item addresses how the results of assessments are used to improve the unit's effectiveness. Resource adequacy addresses the needs of the unit. And the next bullet point addresses how the unit contributes to student learning, development, and success. The next bullet describes the role of technology in the unit and the technological needs of the unit. The next bullet lists the unit's collaborative efforts, partnerships across the college and externally. Finally, human resources examines the employee's qualifications and credentials and professional development opportunities. Stage 2, this is the criteria for the external review. The external review is completed by a consultant, preferably an experienced community college colleague from outside the state of New Jersey. The external reviewer is chosen based on field expertise with knowledge about issues particular to the unit being reviewed. The reviewer is provided with the self-study along with other supporting data and documents. The external reviewer is the one responsible for writing the final report with recommendations. And our reviewer was Kelly McVeigh. She's an expert in the field of distance education. She is the vice president for information and instructional technology at Delaware Technical Community College. She is also a published author in the field of instructional technology. She has a DS in secondary education and a master's in instructional technology, and she is a candidate, PhD candidate in educational leadership. So she was definitely qualified to do our review. Here are some of the findings from the review. What's highlighted here is demonstrative of how the distance education unit is in alignment with the legal and regulatory and industry standards. One, we provide an array of training for faculty in all various modalities taught at the college. When I first came to the college, there wasn't training for hybrid courses. That's changed. There wasn't workshops for online cheating. That's changed. And there weren't workshops for alternative assessment. There wasn't on online retention. That's also changed. And there wasn't a workshop where faculty are able to visit each other's classes, not to be judgmental, but to learn from each other. That workshop is called Teaching Squares, and that's now changed. And Stoney, she was part of the first running of that workshop. Number 2, DE. As you can see, we're competent in our jobs. Number 3, I look at as a compliment. When I first came here, Dr. Kanivi said to me, Sabrina, I want you to develop training for concurrent classes. And the training was developed, and I look at that as a compliment. Number 4, we survey our students every semester to get a pulse on their educational experiences. Number 5, we build our operational goals and action plans on data. Number 6, our students essentially, they can't take distance and remote classes if they don't know the technology, so we provide orientations. Number 7, faculty, they are aware of regulatory items, not only through workshops, but through our website as well. Number 8, the college uses Blackboard. Blackboard is for its learning management system. Blackboard is one of the top companies for distance education. Number 9, we offer a variety of workshops to faculty, and we survey faculty at the end of these workshops to get pulse on how we're doing and what we need to change. Number 10, the checklist referred to here is very common among colleges and that offer distance learning programs and courses. It's a checklist that examines best practices. It's a checklist that examines legal and regulatory and industry standards. It's a checklist that courses they have to go through before they're offered to students. This is something that middle states would be most pleased with. They're all about looking at quality. And then number 11, this is a legal and a curricular item. Essentially, curriculum needs to be compliant. So recommendations from the external reviewer, they're pretty straightforward. And I intentionally bolded the letters of the first statement that DE, distance ed, is currently consistent with professional norms and standards. So that's something to smile about and to feel good about. Number one, the action plan for the first item, distance learning. The manual is being worked on by members of the distance learning staff, along with the Educational Technology Committee of the Academic Council. Number 2, the action plan here. This is a regulatory item, and the distance education department is working on it in numerous ways, such as at the design stage of courses and later when the college has moved to the new learning management system, we will have a workshop to help faculty not only to use the data in the learning management system, but to also design courses that comply with this regulatory item. Number 3, model courses. This is something to be explored after we move to the new learning management system. It doesn't make sense to tackle it now when everything about the learning management system is going to change. So we'll tackle this when we move to the new learning management system. Number 4, when I first came to the college, I conducted my own assessment of distance education, and I saw that there wasn't a course review cycle. One thing that middle states they're very much interested in is the quality of courses. So having a course review cycle every 3 years can ensure that courses are designed to meet learning outcomes, and that, again, they're in compliance with those 3 things: the regulatory, legal, and industry standards. Number 5, I mentioned earlier, we run workshops on online cheating and alternative assessment. Dr. Kenevi has also a goal every 3 years and ensure that courses are designed to meet learning outcomes, and that, again, they're in compliance with those 3 things: regulatory, legal, and industry standards. Okay. So what I was saying was Dr. Kenevi, she's also chimed in this area. She's provided a professional development workshop for faculty on alternative assessment and distance ed, so that faculty can consider ways of assessing students without having them come to campus. And there'll be another workshop on this in January. Continuing with the action plan. High flex classes. This was from our internal review. What we saw is that we need to have courses that are offering much more flexibility. So we're currently piloting the high flex course. We'll continue to explore this modality. We'll continue to work with academic affairs to build on concurrent courses. And what I wanted to close out with was showing you the effectiveness of the concurrent courses and why we need to continue to build on them. If you look not at the numbers, but at the percentages in the passing column. I asked our executive director for institutional research to put the chart together in such a way where I could take a more closer look at the concurrent modality. The concurrent modality, as you can see, is made up of 2 tracks. One track is remote and the other track is the traditional on campus, and they're run simultaneously. If you look at first, the overall percentages of students of passing grades. Here is the concurrent, here is the concurrent total. It's 80.8%. And you look at this number against these different modalities, concurrent, the passing rate is actually higher. I asked Justin to put the chart together this way because I wanted to examine if students took the remote class through the concurrent modality, what do their grades look like against students who took a remote class that was separate from the concurrent modality? And if you look at the percentages, the passing rate is higher. I also wanted to be able to compare if students took on-campus classes via the concurrent modality, what would the passing rate look like against students who took a regular on-campus class? And the passing rate was higher. So do we need to continue to offer these kinds of courses? Absolutely, because this is what the data is telling us. This is when we were at 19 courses and we were still in the pilot stage. We did the survey again in the spring, and the numbers are similar. Here's the overall concurrent modality, both sections combined. When you compare it to the passing rate of the other modalities, it's higher. When you look at the breakdown of the individual parts, again, it's higher. So again, this is something that we need to continue to pursue. And at this point, we were offering about 98 sections. We came out of the pilot stage. This fall, we are offering the HighFlex class. So the next time I asked our executive director for institutional research to put this chart together, the HighFlex modality will be on there. And it's only one class, so it won't be statistically significant, but it could hold some promise. So we'll see. That's my spiel.
Any questions for Sabrina?
Yes.
All right.
What does HighFlex offer that remote doesn't offer?
HighFlex is a triple modality.
Sabrina, come back here.
Sabrina, you need to.
There's people online. Yeah.
The HighFlex is actually a triple modality. So simultaneously, you have the face-to-face class, the remote Zoom class, and the fully online class. So if I'm a student and what works for me is to be able to take a remote class. I have babysitting issues, those kinds of things, right? But let's say something happens to my babysitter for a couple of weeks. It's not convenient for me to be in that remote modality. And I know I can't come to campus to be in that modality. So for a couple of weeks, I can remain in the class, but attend via the online modality, thus HighFlex. So based on my situation, I can flex between these 3 modalities. It's all the same course, but based on my situation, I can choose which one to attend. And I think that has retention implications because sometimes our students leave because their situations don't allow them to get to class, or they need just for a little while
a flexible option until things are better, then they can go back to the modality that they prefer.
So when I was reading the report, the early childhood one, it talked about a student who is an adult and needed extra time, and it's not very flexible with her because she was a full adult family and needed some time. But yes, so with Lex, with that same situation, with the same accommodations, for lack of a better word, and students.
Even more.
Yeah. So that's,
You even have more options.
that would retain.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
So is that high flex class is taught by the same person? at the
Yes.
same time? Yes.
Yes. I'll repeat it for you.
Just one more question. Are those classes recorded? So just in case. the
Yes.
students want to go back. To
Yes.
They can be. I'll come back with one. That's it.
As an instructor, you have options. So you can, when you're teaching the live class to the remote and the in-class students, you can record that session and then get it loaded into Blackboard so your fully online students can see it, right? That's one option. The other option, when you're developing a high flex class, typically you develop the online portion first. So then if your online portion is developed first, you would already have videos in there already. So you don't have to record your live session because you've already done recordings in advance.
Thank you. That's all.
All right.
Okay.
It's a new world out there and
Yeah.
students are changing and we have to change as well.
I'm just talking to my doctoral program in Fordham. Some people get their stuff in on time, and some people really struggle to get it in. And they ask for extension, but at a certain time, Fordham puts down that hammer. It's like, you don't have it. Sorry. So it's nice to see.
Flexibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right, so in your packet tonight, as part of the reorganization, you have the annual notice of meeting. So we're sticking with the third Tuesday, which is in our bylaws. So that hasn't changed. Purchase of goods and services are fairly routine. Mike, the MOU with City of Patterson?
Sure. So 3 years ago, the college's foundation had received a grant from the Cloud Foundation to fund 2 positions to be lent to the City of Patterson, a chief data officer and a chief innovation officer. That was a very successful project. The chief data officer, as I understand it, created new dashboards, new data analysis. The chief innovation officer has likewise provided some innovative ways of doing things and different projects for the city. The city and the foundation went back to CALB for a second grant, this time just for the chief innovation officer. The data component, they're splitting into 2 data analyst positions. It will not be funded through this current grant. They have found other money to fund those 2 positions, which I think is one of the goals of doing this kind of a grant. They do want to continue with the chief innovation officer for another 3 years. The Town Foundation has extended a grant award to cover salary and expenses and benefits for that chief innovation officer for another 3 years. There's no cost to the college. There's no cost to the foundation. There may again be opportunities for our students to get some internships. But in most respects, almost all respects, this is identical to what we did 3 years ago. I don't know if anybody has any questions about this. Okay.
All right.
All right.
I just want to highlight one item in our personnel packet. We are, yeah, I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do too. We have a very happy appointment here. Some of you may remember that our Stephen Hardy, our Vice President for Finance, left us a few months ago, and he would like to come back. And we would like to have him back. So he is in your packet tonight for a return engagement at PCCCC. So we are all very, very happy about that. So
That's great.
we're happy that can happen.
Terrific. Okay, so moving on. We have a motion to adopt resolution number 3, consent resolution items as set forth in the memoranda dated November 15th, 2022. A, the annual notice of meetings. B, the purchase of goods and services. C, the MOU with the city of Patterson that Mike had just explained. D, the personnel items. We have a motion?
Move it.
Second? Roll?
Okay, so trustee Octor,
Yes.
trustee Drake, trustee Cloven. Trustee Cloven? Muted. No, he's not muted. Yes,
He's muted.
Yes.
yes.
Now he's back.
Okay, trustee.
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
trustee Poe,
Yes.
you. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
vice chair Tanis,
Yes.
chairman Marco.
Yes,
Consent resolution is adopted.
adopted. Great.
What about Moody?
Oh.
Did I pass you? Trustee Moody? Yeah. I'm sorry about that. Why did I do that?
Okay. Are there any remarks from the public? Hearing none.
I just have one thing.
Go ahead.
Tonight is pie night for our trustees. So before you leave, we have pies for all of you. So please do not leave till you get a pie,
Get a pie.
including all you guys too.
Okay.
Yeah, we know you are.
Are there any remarks from the trustees?
Yeah, can you save an apple pie for me? Yeah.
We'll think about it.
We'll send it UPS.
No, I'll be back before then, before I get to that.
Okay.
Just kidding.
To adjourn the meeting.
Move it.
Second.
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 All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Abstentions? No.
7:04.
7:04. Right on time. Dr. Rose. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.